Welcome to the presentation of Sage ACPAC CRM. ACPAC CRM is an award-winning wireless and internet-based CRM system that provides enterprise-wide access to vital customer, partner, and prospect information basically anytime and anywhere. The recording that you're about to see is meant to give you an overview of the standard features and functionality of this product. It is not intended to serve as the sole basis for your purchasing decision. Please consult with your solution provider to obtain more information on this product. If you do not have a solution provider, I will provide contact information at the end of the session. Well, Sage ACPAC CRM is an easy-to-use web and wireless CRM solution. With its out-of-the-box integration to ACPAC ERP or the Pro ERP accounting system, it allows you to easily manage your marketing campaigns, create more of an efficient and accountable sales force, provide a higher level of customer support, and it has an integration to Microsoft Outlook because a lot of you out there already use Outlook for managing your schedules and emails. Regardless of what business you're in, Sage ACPAC CRM is so flexible that you can customize it to meet any demands of today's business. During this demonstration, you'll look at three separate views of Sage ACPAC CRM. The first part of the demonstration will cover Salesforce automation. The second part will cover customer care. And the last part will look at the integration of Sage ACPAC CRM with Sage ACPAC ERP. Now sit back and enjoy the demonstration of Sage ACPAC CRM.
Back in my CRM, or my personal area of the Sage ACPAC CRM solution, I have the ability to keep track of my own information. Again, one of the things that we're talking about here is giving or empowering your users with a tool that first of all they're going to want to use, because after all, if it's not a tool that's easy to use, they simply won't use it. They'll bypass it, and then eventually you've invested in an obsolete solution. So let's talk a little bit about how this is going to help me as a salesperson, for example, to keep track of my calendaring information, keep track of my daily activities. So here I'm looking again at my dashboard. So a window where I can come in, and obviously I can configure this. I can change whatever dashboard information that I want presented to me. And again, the system administrator will determine what dashboard information is available. But again, from this screen, everything is hyperlinked and easily accessible. So if I needed to go into the information for one of my companies or one of my accounts, like Eurolandia, I simply click on the company hyperlink. This is also an area in my CRM where I can keep track of, for example, my daily activities. So I have my agenda here available. I can put in a quick appointment, pick up kids, and we have to do that, let's say, at 4:30 this afternoon. So we can go ahead and enter that information very quickly, no problem. But CRM, more importantly, is a relational database. Let's talk a little bit about to keep track of communications so that when anybody else is dealing with our accounts or with our customers, they're able to see these communications to know who said what to the customer, when, etc. And also, we don't want a tool that's difficult to input information. So let's say, for example, right now, I'm getting a call from one of my customers, Eurolandia. So I'm going to use my CRM tool that allows me to go ahead and pick out information very quickly and easily without inputting many things. So click of a couple of letters, it automatically shows me the contacts at that organization that we deal with. In CRM, we call these the persons at that organization. So let's say the call was from Gareth McDade. And also, let's say that Gareth McDade is calling me specifically about an opportunity that we're dealing with for this time and expense product, which is in negotiating phase. At this point in time, Gareth says, I'd really like to get some more information. I'd like to set up a time when we can discuss the warranty details on this so that we can go to the next step. And I can potentially, we're ready to give you our business, but we want to iron out some details about the warranty. So one of the things I might want to do is schedule, for example, a phone call to discuss warranty details. Okay, now as an account representative, I'm from the sales side. I might not necessarily know what are all the technicalities behind the warranties. So I might want to look up a resource in our organization, such as Kylie Ward, and say, let me see what Kylie Ward has available. And I can have the customer on the phone at this point in time. So I'm going to come down here and notice that now my calendar is here and also Kylie Ward's is here. But if I move my mouse over Kylie Ward's calendar, because again this is a web-based solution, as long as a user doesn't mark off a calendar appointment as private, I have the ability to see what's going on. So if this was an urgent meeting, I see here that Kylie Ward has a staff meeting from 2 to 3 o'clock. It's possible for me to say, listen, I need 30 minutes. I need you to break out of your meeting 15 minutes early. This is an urgent situation. Let's answer these questions, get this business closed. Today's Friday. Okay. But again, if you don't want to, simply remember to mark off your appointments or your personal things as a private communication. We'll simply see it marked off as gray. We won't see the details. So what if we have this call, let's say at 3:30 this afternoon, and we can simply now go ahead and save this. So what have we essentially done? We've set up an appointment for Susan May and for Kylie Ward, and this will go back to the actual account. So anybody looking at Eurolandia down the road to find out who said what when or who did what when will actually see that there was a meeting scheduled on the 15th at 3:30 in the afternoon. Now, if you're a user that spends a lot of time using Outlook, one of the things that you're going to want to avoid is having to enter information redundantly in both areas. Well, the good news is Sage ACPAC CRM offers the user as a preference, as an option, the ability to actually install an Outlook integration, which now is going to give the user the ability to actually run CRM directly from the Outlook window, and also have CRM and Outlook automatically update each other when any changes are made in any of these areas. So let's actually go into my CRM here. On the left-hand side, we'll see that there's a CRM toolbar. And first things we'll see is that we're actually running CRM inside of Outlook. So again, this exact same screen, so we don't have to be going back and forth between Outlook and CRM. We also notice that we have a CRM toolbar here at the top. And the first time we log in, CRM is going to synchronize our contacts, our appointments, our tasks. And if we go down here, in fact, to our calendar inside of Outlook, we should notice two entries: the phone call to discuss warranty details and the meeting that we have to go and pick up the kids. So again, any changes, any updates made inside of Outlook will automatically update CRM. Any changes or any inputs in CRM will automatically update Outlook. Again, I mentioned this is for your contacts, this is for your appointments, and this is also for your tasks. So now back inside of CRM within my personal space, I also have a tab here for my contacts. So these are my contacts where I would bring in, let's say, for example, my own personal Rolodex of accounts maybe that I'm handling inside of CRM. So again, a very quick place for me to be able to access their information. A place where I can also do my lead management. So one of the things that's very critical in businesses today is how do we manage leads that come into our organization, and how do we manage them in a timely manner? After all, we spend a considerable portion of our company's budget or marketing budget to try to generate leads for sales. One of the things I've done here, because many organizations will already have their own website. Sometimes in your website you may have links to info at or sales at, for example, or maybe you'll even have a web form. So in this particular case, I went ahead and filled out a web form as a customer looking for information for this particular company. So one of the things that we have is, in your particular case, your web form may actually be generating an email, which goes to a central email box where somebody has to look up the information. Maybe a few people have access to that email box, but again, you're dependent on when they actually access this email information. You also don't really have a way to manage necessarily the flow. How much time did it take you from the time this lead was created to pass it along to maybe a salesperson who was now supposed to go and look into this information? So in our situation with Sage ACPAC CRM, we have the ability to go ahead and set up CRM so that these leads would automatically come in, create a lead inside of CRM, and possibly automatically assign this to an individual within your organization. So what you'll notice here is that we have a lead that was created. It automatically came in. And now, again, one of the things that we have is that this lead, the clock is ticking on it. So we have the ability to make sure that leads flow in the way that we want them to flow. Notifications come up, making sure that, again, we follow through with these leads in the way that you want to. Because after all, if we take too long to respond to these leads, then eventually it starts to become a cold call again. Okay? As mentioned earlier, CRM also gives us the ability to develop or to manage actual workflow. So in this case, we also have a workflow that manages our lead process flow. We've contacted this customer and they want to be a reseller. So we can fill out this information. This is going to be all of the information on these various different pages. It's important for you to realize that you're going to configure them for your specific business needs. You can also make these fields required fields as you move through and you collect the information that you want to collect on your leads. We can also put in things like tracking notes, called and left message. And when we save, again, what we'll see is, all right, we have certain areas that obviously were not validated, so we'll make sure this is for direct sales. And again, you're going to determine which leads you consider or which fields you consider are mandatory for your users to fill out. So here we have now, as we move along, that our action items or actions are actually changes. And this is part of the workflow. So again, as I said, as we move from step A through step Z, CRM is going to prompt us on the things that we need to collect, the things that we need to do, the automation that's going to happen in the background. In this particular case, when I hit the process button, I collected this information. It's possible that you might have an action in the background that might be sending this customer an email with a brochure as an attachment for the products and services that you offer. You will also be able to keep track of all of the notes and any communications that you have for these leads. And the same thing will happen for any opportunities that you're working on. You'll be able to track their progress through the system. So if you want to see where you were successful or why you weren't successful in dealing with leads or opportunities or cases, you simply have the ability to do that through the tracking tab. Leads is, again, somebody who has just an interest in possibly what you have to offer. They want some more information, but you haven't necessarily defined everything. Now, once you've defined what that person is looking for, you will want to actually move that into a different bucket. At that point in time, you may want to convert that lead to an opportunity. So again, an opportunity is something that is a little bit more concrete. We've defined the actual needs or requirements for that particular prospect, so we want to go ahead and convert that over to becoming an opportunity. One of the things that's essential in offering a CRM solution to your users is that you are now empowering your users with the right tool for the right job. Giving a salesperson the ability to see their opportunities pipeline, the statistics for their opportunities, the revenue potential that they're bringing in, will obviously let these salespersons generate more revenue opportunities for your business, and consequently, your business will grow as a result. Also, you'll notice that we have the ability to manage forecasts. There's some standard tools available for you out of the box, but again, you can configure, change, modify a lot of these. You might decide to have your own forecasting tool that you develop internally. Okay. We also have the ability to have document libraries where we manage documents that are accessible to our users. Things like maybe standard documents, standard templates, PowerPoint templates, logos, etc. We can place these in a library, so again, we can manage these documents accessible to our users. We may also want to do things like mail merges. So when we go into our opportunities, for example, and if we wanted to automate the process of sending out information to our customers, for example, I have this new lamps for export opportunity for this customer, Mr. Stephen Kershaw. Let's go ahead and say we wanted to send. We've created this opportunity with the items that we're going to sell to this customer, and we want to go ahead and send this customer a quote. So we'll simply go ahead and use mail merge documents that we have already accessible on servers. Again, the idea behind this is that we are eliminating the effort. We're reducing the amount of time that it actually takes a salesperson to correspond and send out the necessary information that they need to send out to their customers. So here we're doing a mail merge with a Word document, and CRM is going to automatically bring in the information. So again, it eliminates also the potential dangers of making mistakes before we actually send out information to our customers. So here it is, and again, now we've already automatically saved this document, so we can simply go ahead and close this out, and it's going to save this underneath the library portion of this opportunity. So this is a proposal for lamps and bulbs, and we'll say that this was a proposal. We'll say it was sent out via fax, for example. And you will define all of these action items. Again, these are going to be your choices for your business. So once we save it, what we've actually done is we've saved this under a communication with an attachment. You'll also notice that we have a document Dropbox here under the Communications tab for this opportunity. But we also have a library where we have a document Dropbox. So if we needed to actually have, let's say, any documents that were associated with this, we needed to capture, let's say, we need to have associated contracts and things like that that we wanted to put in here, we could certainly make sure that that information could be logged within the library for that specific opportunity. Let's now talk a little bit about Sage ACPAC CRM as a solution to help you manage your customer care issues. So everything from the point of cases, issues, tickets, however you may call them, but as you're dealing with your customers, you want to maximize your ability to better deal with their problems, with their issues. So I'm going to log in here as a user by the name of Kylie Ward, who happens to be a user in the customer care department in my fictitious company. Now, one of the things we have the ability to do again is manage our cases pipeline. In this particular situation, what we're looking at is a cases pipeline, again, based on the workflows we have it set up for this fictitious company. We'll notice here in our list we also have the 37 cases that make up this pipeline are also reflected in our list. Now, not all of them are on this page, so we'd have to scroll through page by page until we find the right one we're looking for, or we can actually go use our filters to actually filter and find the actual case that we're looking for. Sage ACPAC CRM also gives us the ability at the cases level, for example, to use what are called service level agreements. Now, service level agreements is going to give us the ability to define specific rules on how we want to engage with our customers. So let's say, as we are used to using the terms gold, silver, platinum, these might be service level agreements. So again, we can define our reactions based on the service level agreement that a customer has with us. We'll also have the ability to see graphically how we're doing as these cases progress through the organization. So obviously anything in red means that we've exceeded the time limit for the actual stage that this particular case may be in. Anything in yellow means we're getting very close to the actual time limit, depending again on the rules that you set up. Now, anything in green would obviously mean that we're doing well, we're fine, no problems. We're still within the time limit for that particular case. Now, we have the ability to go ahead and create cases one by one. So we can, if we're at the customer's record, a customer calls up, for example, let's go to our recent list. And let's say, for example, this customer here, Ronald Black. So if this customer, Ronald Black, calls up, I'm looking at the customer's record, and the customer says, listen, I have a problem with device or widget XYZ that I purchased from you. I can come in and say, okay, let me go ahead and create a new case for you, Mr. Customer. So again, CRM is going to start basically filling out the form. And again, this is going to be a form that you define for your organization with your fields. Your fields will be defined based on your requirements. Now, one of the things that happens within an organization, especially as you're in a growing organization, do you really want to take the time and have to manually enter every single bit and piece of information manually? Well, you'd like to get to the point where your customers can have a much more pleasant experience dealing with customer care. Because oftentimes as your business is growing, you're going to have to ramp up your customer service department with additional individuals to answer the phone calls because your customer does not want to be placed on hold. That is not a pleasant experience for everybody. So why don't we start empowering our customers to use different types of tools? So let's say, for example, your customer wants to send an email. So you can start instructing your customers as sending an email to support order number 101. The lamps came in missing power cords. So something like that. Okay, so again, the nice thing is we all like using email because it takes literally just seconds. We can get to the point. We simply send it in. It's a documented fact that now establishes that we actually logged a complaint and issue a case with the organization. Now, one of the nice things is for your customer to receive a confirmation that that issue was actually logged and received at your organization. So here we have the support ticket returned to us. So here there's an automatic email generated. However, the critical point about this automatic email is the fact that there's already a case reference number. As a customer, Mr. Ronald Black has the satisfaction of knowing that somebody actually logged a case in his favor at the organization. What we also have now, back at Universal Corporation, my fictitious company, is that there's a notification that popped up on this user's desktop. This notification is a hyperlink, again, because of the fact that CRM is a web-based solution. Again, this is a very, very convenient feature because simply by clicking on this notification takes us to this actual case that was logged. So here's the case that we just saw, case number 1-101. 10111 for Mr. Ronald Black. So what you'll notice is that CRM is sophisticated enough to take the body of an email and translate it into a case and even assign it to an actual user in the organization. Then you can determine the rules and how this process will actually take place in your organization. I'll simply go ahead and dismiss this notification, but we'll also show you here that the communications were also logged. So we can see here the communication that was sent in by Mr. Ronald Black is actually logged and kept inside of CRM, which means that we can reply to it, we can forward it, we can manage this communication directly from within CRM. Also, any other user that looks at this account or has access to this account can continue to give Mr. Ronald Black the level of support he's looking for and not have to be digging into or finding out from the existing user if he or she can forward the existing email bodies. This is, again, a very critical feature because we can maintain the flow of communications throughout the users that have access to this particular account. Within the cases or customer care area, CRM also gives us the ability to go ahead and log solutions against a particular case. So what this allows us to do is look through our own internal knowledge base, and if we wanted to link a solution, but let's say, for example, that we're dealing with an issue of process, maybe it was a computer situation and there was a specific area that the computer simply crashed. So maybe we want to link a solution because somebody internally figured out what the problem was. So we're not constantly reinventing the wheel. So we can very easily look into our knowledge base, and again, solutions will have workflow associated with them, which means that you can move solutions through sort of a QA process before you go ahead and make them accessible to other users. So users would only see solutions till after they've been completely approved and they've been completely established as viable solutions. So in conclusion, what we've seen now is we've used an automated process to get cases into CRM without having the user have an unpleasant experience spending a certain amount of unnecessary time on a phone to enter the information or to log the information. And this is very critical for the growth of your business. Let's talk now about how we can use CRM to help maximize our marketing opportunities within our organization. So let's talk a little bit about marketing campaigns. We'll go into our marketing area and talk about how marketing campaigns are actually set up in CRM. Essentially, marketing campaigns are in a three-tier structure. So let's go and we can have as many campaigns as we want, but we'll go into this one in particular, this time and expense marketing campaign. So basically what we'll have is when does a campaign start, when does it end, the campaign budget versus the actual cost. So this is going to give us the ability to measure the actual cost of a campaign versus the budget that we had for it. We'll also be able to manage any communications, see any communications that resulted from the campaign, apply any filters to look for specific communications. So if there were email blasts also, or emails associated, phone calls, faxes, anything associated with that particular campaign would be reflected within the communications tab. We can also have a reports tab. In this particular case, we have an out-of-the-box report already created for you, showing you the communications, the status of the communications, any responses that were received, opportunities, the stage of the opportunity. So from one quick view, have the ability to see how did this campaign actually do. Again, do you want to repeat this campaign? If it was a failed campaign, maybe not. We'll also have a library where we have any documents that are associated with a campaign stored so that we have access to these documents. What I want to show you is different examples of how campaigns are managed. What we have within a campaign, within the second and third levels, are the waves and wave activities. In our case, a wave is sort of what is your objective. So one of your objectives might be awareness, to establish awareness within the markets that you're trying to reach. So underneath there, we have the appropriate wave activities. How are we going to do that? Within some of them, we're going to have different telemarketing activities, maybe mailers, maybe mass email blasts, but we might even have something here called, let's say, a customer survey. Now, I'm going to point this one out because it's a relatively unique type of activity, because what it allows us to do is structure an outbound call activity. So one of the things that we can do is script out, sort of in the same way we would script out, let's say, a mail merge, except in this particular case, it's going to help a user go through a flow that we've established in a certain way to collect specific information that we want to associate back to a customer. So in this case, we have a script that's going to set up an introduction. Once I've made contact with the customer, then it's going to have me collect certain information on that customer. So why don't we go ahead and show you how this would take place. So just try to imagine doing whether it's a customer survey, or maybe you wanted to establish a way for somebody to come into your organization as a part-timer to make calls out to your customers to maybe do collections. So you can script out how this is going to take place. Again, you want to be in control of how these communications are actually going to be taking place. So let's go out and show you how this would happen. So I'm going to log in here as a user that is actually set up to make, let's say, outbound calls. In this particular case, we're going to do a customer survey, and we're going to want to collect some basic bits and pieces of information. And CRM is going to keep track of the length of the actual call, not the length of the actual call per contact that we make, but the length of the activity. Why? Because at the end, remember, we're measuring the actual cost versus the budget we have set up. So let's go in and click on simply get a call. And now what CRM is going to do is going to pull up whatever list that we had pulled from our database and associated with this particular wave activity, and it's going to follow us through that actual merge. So here we have, hello, my name is Fred Jones, so I'm making my introduction. I'm from Universal Corporation. May I please speak with Marcus Carr? Now, if there was any other contact within that organization that we dealt with, I can simply go ahead and click on their name, and it would automatically reroute that script to that person. At this point in time, I can look up the company information. Marcus Carr is a hyperlink, so all of this information is accessible to me at my fingertips. Just for the sake of argument, let's assume that the receptionist went ahead and transferred me over to Marcus Carr, at which point in time I simply select over here on the right-hand side that I got through. Once I got through, at this point in time, what CRM does, you'll notice that it went ahead and presented me with a list. That, again, this is going to be a list that you are going to preset up in terms of your key attributes, in terms of information that you want to collect. So think of this as the information you want to gather about your customers to either update their accounts or to help you so that later on when you're doing your marketing campaigns, you want to pull reports, you would be able to have access to this information at your fingertips. So again, simply you can have some drop-down lists to make the collecting of information easy, or you can have all kinds of different choices of fields that you can use. So I'll simply go ahead and say we're finished calling and we're done with this. Okay, so we just called Marcus Carr. I totally forgot to look at the name of the company, but if we wanted to, we'll look up Marcus Carr. We don't even have to enter too much information. So let's go to our key attributes, and we'll see the information was collected and it was stored underneath the company tab for key attributes. So again, very critical for you as you're capturing information. It's also helping you so that you're entering the information directly into the CRM system and you're not rekeying in data as you're collecting this information. In summary, the Sage ACPAC CRM is going to help you better manage your marketing activities because, again, what most companies want to do is make sure that their budgets that they're setting aside for these marketing activities are returning the kinds of activities that they're expecting to receive for as far as being able to generate the necessary activities that they need for their sales group. Let us now talk about Sage ACPAC CRM as a fully integrated CRM solution with Sage ACPAC ERP. Again, this is a critical aspect of your business because after you've established the fact that you're trying to get a 360-degree view of your customers and vendors, one of the things you want to make sure that you do is that this 360-degree view also includes any information that is coming out of your ERP solution. So let's go ahead and log in as Susan May again. And what we'll do is we'll go in and we'll start off looking at a customer that is an AR customer. So let's look at Mr. Ronald Black. So here we can see Mr. Ronald Black, customer number 1200. As we scroll across the top, what we'll notice is CRM keeps track of information for us in tabs. So all these tabs across the top here will contain information specifically about Mr. Ronald Black Company. So again, this is a way that we make it easy to access information, to get to specifically what we're looking for. So we'll have a summary tab. We'll have a quick look tab. This is going to give us the ability to see the latest communications, opportunities, and cases that we deal with for a particular customer. We have our key attributes, things where we can specifically manage what is it that interests our customers. What are the marketing attributes that we want to collect on our customers? Again, this is key marketing intelligence that you're going to set up. It's going to be your fields that you need to capture, that you want to capture. So whether it's something like events that you do multiple different events during the year, and you want to keep track of all those events. What was the customer interested in? All these types of things can be managed under key attributes. notes, communications. Underneath the Communications tab, this is where I'm going to see all the communications that we had for a customer. So as we move across the top and we look at our opportunities, cases, people, etc., we'll also see that we have a tab here for Accounts Receivable Inquiry, Credit Information. So if I click on any of these things, what it's actually going to do is it's going to pull directly from ACPAC ERP. So now actually what we're looking at is the customer's credit information as it specifically exists inside of ACPAC ERP. It's critical because we want to see, is this customer on hold? Think of a customer service rep that now doesn't have to ask the customer to hold on, call AR, find out what the customer's standing is. We can see what the customer's credit limit is, etc. We also have the ability to help our customer out or to deal with our customer seeing any order information. We want to look at repeat orders. We want to look at the last things that this customer ordered. We want to see any open quotes. So I have the ability to come in here under my All selection here. I have the ability to look at all my orders, all of my quotes, any web orders that came in from this customer. All this information will be accessible to me underneath this Order Inquiry tab, including any completed transactions, so any actual shipments that were made for this particular customer. We can actually click on the drill down, which is going to give us sort of a read-only view of the actual order. So we'll see the order header, the line items, and any shipments that were made for this particular customer. We also have the ability to actually open up the document inside of Sage ACPAC CRM. So by launching this, what we're actually doing is launching the actual ACPAC form inside of ERP. And here we have the actual form inside of ERP. And what makes this very unique is the fact that we can actually do this with an ERP solution. And the reason why we can do this with Sage ACPAC ERP is because it is a web-enabled ERP solution. So we are actually looking at the web-enabled order entry form of ACPAC popping up over the web. And consequently, we can also enter any new orders for this customer. We can actually look at any accounts receivable information. And it's important to understand that this is always going to be related back to securities. If the actual user that is requesting this information from within CRM does not have the appropriate access to ERP, that user will not see this information. So again, it's very important to understand that we are very, very granular in terms of how we manage securities within Sage ACPAC CRM. Now the integration with ACPAC ERP is bidirectional. So one of the ways we'll prove this, or we'll show you this, is let's go to a company like Eurolandia. So what we'll see here is when we go to Eurolandia, there is no ACPAC customer number at the top here. We know that this is not an AR customer because we also don't see the AR customer tab here or the order entry, the credit information tab. So at this point in time, maybe one of the things we want to do is this is a prospect. So we don't want to redundantly have to enter information that we've collected inside of CRM, now create the customer inside of accounts receivable. How about if we simply came over here and said, this is customer number 9915. So we'll assign a customer number. And again, you're going to have somebody in your organization that is actually responsible for assigning customer numbers and setting up new customers. So moving these prospects over to becoming customers. So we'll say this is a wholesale customer. The tax group might be something like California, etc. The terms might be, again, depending on the person that's setting this up will determine based on this customer's maybe DNB rating what their actual credit limit would be. Well, we're going to give them a $5,000 credit limit and we'll save this. So customer number 9915 will now be an AR customer inside of ACPAC. So now what we'll go ahead and do is actually open up ACPAC ERP. We'll go to our customers area inside of AR, and we'll look up customer 9915 just to make sure that the information did in fact come through. So here is Eurolandia. Here's all the information on Eurolandia. So they're 22 Beacon Street, number 100. Now, what if for some reason a couple of weeks later on this customer calls up and says, well, no, we are no longer in suite number 100. We are in suite A210, for example, and we'll go ahead and save this. So what we want to show you is that this is, in fact, a bidirectional relationship, a bidirectional integration, instantaneous integration also between ACPAC CRM and Sage ACPAC ERP. So here we're getting a notification that it has successfully updated also CRM with the customer number. So when we go back to CRM and we go to our customer, we can now in fact see that we've changed the customer's address to suite number A210. Also, when we go over to the People's tab, or what might otherwise be known as the contacts within that organization, we have Gareth McDade and we have Karen O'Toole. Now we can select one of these contacts within this list to be our Sage ACPAC AR contact, which in fact you'll notice that Karen O'Toole is the Sage ACPAC AR contact. Making any changes to Karen O'Toole's information will also update the actual contact tab within this ACPAC AR customer file. The integration with ACPAC ERP also gives us the ability to create opportunities that will link with items out of inventory control. So let's go ahead and create an opportunity for this company, and we'll link some items directly from inventory control. So once we've filled out the form, and again, this form will contain information as you specifically want to collect information. These will be all your fields organized the way you want to see them, and you can select which one of these fields will be mandatory fields. We'll simply go ahead and save this opportunity. Now what we're going to do is simply reactivate our ACPAC quote tab, because again, the user has the ability to select which of the tabs that they wish to see in their area. So we'll say, you know what, we need to see the ACPAC quote tab in order for us to be able to create an ACPAC quote. So we come to the ACPAC quote tab, at which point in time now CRM is already checking with ACPAC to make sure there aren't any existing quotes for this customer, and we'll simply go ahead and click on the create quote link. What we'll see happen right now is that the order entry screen from ACPAC is again being invoked. At this point in time, one of the things we'll notice is that the order type selected for ERP is quote. So CRM automatically finds the customer number, automatically associates this as a quote, and we can simply go ahead and enter our line item information. So we'll say that these are for some lamps and the customer wants 20 of those, and we'll simply go ahead and post that. And you'll see quote number 004 is immediately going to appear in the background of our screen, and CRM is immediately updated. At this point in time that this quote exists inside of CRM, we can then promote this to an order directly from CRM. Again, because this is a bidirectional integration, it will automatically take that quote that is inside of ACPAC ERP and convert it to an active order. So in conclusion, having a CRM solution like Sage ACPAC CRM, which is directly integrated with your Sage ACPAC ERP, it is critical because it now empowers your sales staff with the necessary information that they need so that they save time and they have access to all the information that you want to present to them from ERP in their CRM solution.
So what's next? If you would like to get more information on how this product can address your critical business issues, you can contact your local solution provider. If you do not know who your local solution provider is, and you're an existing Sage customer, then you can call 1-877-237-5786. If you are not currently using Sage software product, or you're a customer for simply accounting, then you can call 1-877-237-5790. On behalf of Sage Software, I'd like to thank you for previewing our products.